Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Shane Malika with Phyxius Power Building here at you again. Today we're going to be going over a very simple, basic dumbbell workout and a little bit of body weight workout that you can do to help improve the strength and the look and the size of your tricep musculature. So the triceps, a lot of times I know, especially for us guys, we love to work on what are called those mirror muscles, those muscles we can see in the mirror. So our chest, our quadriceps, and our biceps as well. We should never forget about the triceps as part of our arms as well, because those make up about 2/3 the size of our arms. So if we neglect those muscles, the overall size and look and proportion of our arms is just not going to look quite right. Now, the triceps itself, as the name implies, there's 3 heads. We'll get to the anatomy in a moment, but remember, the primary action of the triceps is to extend the elbow. It also has the ability to help extend the shoulder, and that's because of the origin and insertion of those of that particular muscle group. So let me just share my screen here real quick, just to talk about anatomy. Here you see just a basic, cartoon version of the tricep musculature, but I think it illustrates the point. You can see that there is a long head, a lateral head, and then that medial head as well. Take a look at that long head. Now, look at where it attaches. It actually attaches above or away from the shoulder joint itself, and that's the reason why that the tricep can help extend the shoulder joint too. If you the medial head, the lateral head, they attach below the shoulder joint, the glenohumeral joint itself. So it does assist with the extension of the elbow, but won't assist with extension of the shoulder. But one thing to take note of is look how they all join up together and as part of the tricep tendon and attach to the olecranon. All right, the elbow joint, if you will. The reason why I mention that is in order to emphasize different parts of the triceps, changing the position of your elbow is not going to do a lot, because your elbow, your olecranon, if I move my forearm around, it doesn't really change that much. In order to emphasize the different parts of the tricep, we need to change positions of the glenohumeral joint, of the shoulder joint. We need to change the angle in order to emphasize different parts of the tricep. So that's what we're going to talk about today, doing a little bit of a dumbbell workout, something you can do at home or at a gym, to help emphasize the different parts of the tricep to get you that strength and look that you want. Now, it is important to work on the triceps. I know sometimes in the power building world, people, they don't want to get into those particular types of muscle groups, but guess what? They do assist with some of those power movements, those compound movements that you're doing. So working on the biceps, the triceps are going to help some of those other lifts that you're doing, the bench press and even the deadlift to a certain extent as well. So don't neglect these other muscle groups. I know sometimes it's considered just for bodybuilders, but if you're doing power building, power lifting, working on the biceps, the triceps is going to actually help your other types of compound movements. All right. So some things to keep in mind when working on the triceps. Again, this is a single joint movement, and we're just going to be changing the angle of our glenohumeral joint, the shoulder, in order to emphasize different parts of the tricep. I do mention to people, these are not the exercises to be trying to do with a low rep range and high weight. Trust me, from doing lower reps, high weight for a long period of time, my left elbow is permanently screwed up. All right. Even doing the light weight that you're going to be seeing me do here with dumbbells will flare up my elbow for about a week or two. It's gotten to the point now where all I can use are resistance bands, and I'll show that in a future episode, because I feel I get a great pump and a great workout with resistance bands, but without the elbow issues. So I'm gonna. So again, these would be exercises, higher reps. So we're talking 12, 15, 20 repetitions would be ideal for the triceps. Remember your cadence: 2 seconds for the concentric, pause. 2 seconds for the eccentric, pause again. So don't forget about those different components. This is also one of those times where your rest period, it may not be a bad idea to shorten it up. All right. When you shorten up the rest period, sometimes people get a little worried about that. But what I tell them is this: yes, your next set, you may still be fatigued. The muscles may still be fatigued, but only a certain percentage of the muscle fibers will be fatigued. And when you start your next set, the other muscle fibers that are still available, still ready, will kick in and work. So you'll actually, over the course of your 3 to 4 sets that you're doing, you'll actually start to recruit, you'll have actually a higher motor unit recruitment while doing the exercises. And that's what we're looking for. So shorten up the rest. It's not uncommon for me to take only 30 seconds between sets to keep it moving, keep it a little bit higher intensity, and I usually get a great pump, great workout. And usually those muscles are a little sore and I don't have the joint soreness like I used to in the past. All right, so we're going to start off just with dumbbell skull crushers. Now, a lot of times in a gym, you'll see this done with a barbell. I've gotten to the point I prefer dumbbells, or I did prefer dumbbells before I jacked up my elbow. And that's because when I do it with the dumbbells, now it's unilateral, I cannot favor one side or another. I got to keep it very even, very uniform. And I feel I get a great workout with the dumbbells. So again, lightweight, high reps, remember your cadence, all right? And we got the bench just at a flat position here. The dumbbells are going to start straight up over my head. And from there, well, all I'm going to do is, like the hinges of a door, let my elbows bend as I bring the weight down towards my ears, and then back up to the starting position. So you'll notice my shoulders are not really moving. They are stabilizing throughout all of this, and the elbows are the prime mover. You'll see in a gym, sometimes people, they'll start to bring their elbows back, all right, or elbows or the shoulders back, or as they're going down, they'll bring their elbows down towards their feet. Again, try to keep everything straight up overhead. Keep your upper arm perpendicular to the floor and back up. Also, it's not uncommon as you start to get tired, you're going to want to flare your arms out. Try to avoid that temptation. Try to keep them together. Again, as you come down, pause, and back up. So again, higher reps, low rest, 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and get on to your next one, 20 reps, 15, 20 reps. Now, in order to emphasize a little bit of a different portion, a little bit more of the lateral head of the tricep, one simple thing that you can do is just change the position of your bench. When you do that, it's going to change the position of your shoulder, which will actually put different parts of the tricep in a more lengthened position and emphasize them a little bit more. As far as the angle of the bench, that is a little bit up to you. I tend to go with about a 60-degree angle. That's me personally. I like it a little bit more upright. The more upright it is, the more emphasis you're going to be placing on that long head of the tricep, because you're pre-positioned in a lengthened position. Now the motion, we're just going to use dumbbells again. So same stuff, same basic motion. All right. So the dumbbells are going to be straight up to the ceiling. All right. And again, I'm perpendicular, and I'm just going to move those elbows, let them come down. Dumbbells come to my ears and all the way up to the ceiling. And that's all the motion is. Again, try to avoid flaring anything out. Also, don't let your shoulders come back too far, or don't let them come down towards your feet. Keep your upper arms perpendicular to the floor, and just let the elbows bend. Go through that full range motion and feel that good stretch. Don't try to shorten it up at all. Get that full range of motion. All right. So that's two of the exercises. The third one that's a good one to consider, it'll get a little bit more of the medial head. It'll actually get all three of them, but it'll emphasize a little bit more of the medial head, are close grip push-ups. All right, so very similar to a standard push-up. The only difference is I'll be bringing my hands closer together. And some people actually call these diamond push-ups, because you bring your hands close enough where you actually make your the negative space between look like a diamond. All right. So I'm going to change the angle of my camera here a little bit, and just so you guys can see the floor of my nasty basement here. There we go. So again, we're just going to be talking about standard push-up position, but the only difference is I'm going to be bringing my hands close together, and try to get it here. There we go. So here we go. And I'm going to, as I go down, I'm going to try to keep my elbows close to my body as much as my anatomy will allow and back up. People will ask, do I have to go all the way down till my chest touches? You can. I go to where it's just short of that because I want to keep constant tension on those triceps. I don't want to let it off. And trust me, 10, 15, maybe 20 repetitions with that type of cadence, your triceps are going to be screaming at you after that particular amount of time. So give yourself, again, that 30 seconds to 1 minute. If you fail, if you can only do 8, 9, 10, perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. Remember, failure is a good thing in the weightlifting arena. Some modifications that you can make if you want to do them up from your knees instead. So I'll see if I can change my angle here just a little bit without bonking myself in the head. So go for my knees. I can do that same type of motion. I could do that, or I can come back onto my bench here and use the diamond position from the bench instead, just so I'm not against gravity quite as much. All right. So let me bring it back up here, guys. All right. So that's, it's a good start. People are saying that's very basic, that's very easy. But the thing is, remember what we talked about time and time again. It's about the intensity that you put into the workout, not necessarily the complexity of the exercises. All right. So again, remember, triceps, 3 heads to it. In order to emphasize, you're always going to, no matter what exercise you do with triceps, you're always going to work the triceps, all 3 heads. And it's just the position you put your shoulder in that dictates which one you're going to emphasize a little bit more. All right. So try to vary up your positioning. The ones that we talked about with the bench flat, incline, the diamond press, or close grip push-ups, that's a great way to start. All right. And remember, as we mentioned before, when you're doing triceps and biceps, which we'll talk about in a future episode, these are the times when higher rep ranges are usually a little bit better, because we're talking smaller muscle groups. We're talking isolated single joints that are moving. You don't want to put too much stress through those in that isolated type movement pattern. Otherwise, it can cause some joint pain and joint damage over time if you go too heavy for too long. Trust me, I know. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Next week, what we're going to be getting to, we're going to stick with the triceps. We're going to switch it over to resistance bands, which you'll actually find with resistance bands with that variable resistance that you get, you'll actually find in certain cases that you get kind of better what they call in the gym that pump. You tend to get a little bit better pump with it. You'll also find that maybe if you have some elbow issues, some shoulder issues, you may find that the bands may actually be more beneficial for you and everything. You don't want to push a bad situation. You don't want to cause more stress to a bad shoulder or bad elbow or anything like that. If you can find an alternative that'll get you the same results, go for it, because resistance is a resistance sometimes. All right. All right. So thanks for joining. You all have a great week and everything. Hope to see you back next week. Remember, struggle is strength. So get that struggle on. All right, guys. Talk to you later.